Hello viewers, Kubiyando, Kith and Kin, welcome back to Roadwarden, where I discovered this in my log. I was going to look at the details of the Gather a Crew thing that we had, partially because I was curious if it was going to have any suggestions for other people we might want to ask, but also just because I wanted to make sure that the game and I were on the same fucking page as to how this is going to work. One thing that is noted here, once I'm ready, I need to go to my boat in the early morning hours, even though we're not leaving until evening. So this is going to burn the day before, and then we'll leave in the evening and presumably actually do the adventuring on the next day. So this is actually a 2-day problem. Really glad I looked. But the other thing I saw here, with help of the map I took from the giant statue, it may be easier for me to cross the island. I don't know if the game had expressed to us before that that's what we saw in the giant statue, or if that's just a logical leap our character made, or what. But I'm really glad that I know that we have a map as well. Apparently, that's the island. All right, so today we have stuff to do. But while we're up here in the north, we should definitely go and... Should I eat? It takes a little while to eat, right? How's the travel? Because we should definitely go to Gale Rocks. See if anybody from Gale Rocks would want to come with us. I can't imagine. I don't think I've made... The Digger probably wouldn't, and I think that's the only person in Gale Rocks who is individually is like someone we've helped a lot. But we should check at least. And we can go to Creeks. We could ask, Ila or Efren, potentially, if they would come with us. And then we can... Then we can head down to the tribe, see if the tribe will accept this magical chisel, which I'm sure has a sharp blade, as a thing, and then try to talk to the enchantress. That's like the plan for day 31. And then on day 32, we probably need to go talk to the innkeeper at the Pelt, at the very least. We can make our way back around here and maybe get ready to leave. Maybe. We'll see. So anyway, I think my point is, do I want to eat now? I don't have all that much food on me. Yeah, we should probably take one of our meals. So enter the tavern. Approach Foggy. I'd like to eat, please. Thank you very much. Time for me to go. Go outside. 22 bones. Up to Gale Rocks. Hey, Gale Rocks. Yeah, the locals mostly like us. I actually don't need you to make me a boat that will reach High Island. I'm all set on that. Actually, we can't even visit the Digger anymore. Does Rafina have anything that we need? We could buy, We've spent all of our free Gambeson repairs, right? So we could buy a Gambeson repair kit and not have to pay for those repairs anymore, and potentially be able to take care of ourselves on the road at the island as well. I'm a little leery of because we're going to need some money to go back home with, right? But also, doesn't this seem like a good idea? I think this seems like... I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Perhaps it's foolish, but... All right. Thank you. Let's go talk to Severina and see if Severina has anything for us. I need to have stronger evidence before I confront her about her collaboration with the bandits. Yo, that was not even slightly on my docket. Yeah, let me... we might be able to reestablish trade or something. If we could get Old Pagos taken care of more, I would like to do that. So I've helped to cure the plague of Old Pagos, but the seasons to come will be grim for them. What do you mean, cure the plague? She keeps her voice low, but the spark in her violet eyes betrays her utter shock. She clears her throat and rests her elbows on the desk. Were they just getting cold? You try to tell her the entire story, and even though at first she stares at you from above her clasped fingers, she seems to get smaller and weaker each time you mention the old druid, or the mysterious altar at the edge of the swamp. Finally, she stares at the wax tablet, defeated rather than joyful. May the right bless the kindness of that pagan, the perfumed guard announces briskly, as well as yours, Roadwarden. You've helped our old friends in need, where we thought there was no hope. Severina, he turns to the old woman, let's offer this stranger some help. Is there some labor you struggle with in our village? Not really. I don't actually need a boat discount. I wonder if this would have them give me a bunch of food, or if this would be a thing like Foggy's where we can come back here and eat. My clothes are fucking filthy right now, and I am about to try to make a deal with some people, so maybe some free baths and laundry? Severina raises her head and sighs. Aquila helps us with the water, and he can ask someone to wash your clothes. His work has him walking around the entire village, but look for him on the eastern bank, close to the pier. Great, cool. So now that the people of Old Pagos aren't contagious anymore, probably, or at least, you could approach the village, they could use an old friend right now, as you just noted. Maybe some supplies for winter? She straightens up and frowns. I think you misunderstand the shape of our past alliance, you do. While it is true that our forebears had strong ties, even before Pagos started following the rite in their own river of faith, for years now we've been at odds, contacting each other only merely out of necessity. Ever since we were accused of robbing them, she suddenly pauses, glancing at her granddaughter and clearing her throat. Wrongly accused. We are not welcomed at their gates, and I've no doubt they wouldn't help us either. If you say so. Also, I bring news about White Marshes. The local necromancer has agreed to abandon his practice. She exchanges looks with her surprised guards, then reaches for a wax tablet. Do tell. She interrupts your tale often, seeking lies and omissions. Finally, her violet eyes smile gently. Not only did you deal with the danger, you saved the bridge between our villages. She notes something on a wax tablet. You're free to spread the news, she tells the man in front of the table, then looks at you. Oh, we will catch a much deeper rest tonight, Samhain. You're exceeding expectations. Well, it's possible I could still do even more for you. She runs her eyes over you, then glances at the guard in front of her. Well, there's something that may be an easy task for a traveler, chiefly one that doesn't talk too much. She reaches for one of her other tablets, then nods with approval. Right. I want you to look around, not ask around. There's a group of spice and tools merchants that was meant to reach our village some time ago, yet they fell silent, most likely taken to the fogs by some beasts. Keep your eyes open. Maybe you'll find their shells, or even better, their wares. And once you learn what happened, I'll pay you. She starts to hum to herself, looking into a pouch from the desk. 5 coins. Just don't speak with any other tribe about it. She stares at you harshly. We must keep this between ourselves, and if the merchants turn out to be nowhere to be found, I'll pay you as well. Well, they were robbed by Glaucia. I actually already know what happened. Her gaze is grim, but after a simple, I see, she reaches for a pouch, then puts 5 dragon bones in a single row and pushes them forward. Thank you for your assistance. You don't sound surprised. She looks at her granddaughter, who, even without noticing, has lowered her crossbow. I asked Glaucia about this very thing I did, Severina admits. I don't think you're mistaken, Roadwarden. It's a natural step on her path, but it means she's lied to our people, and I won't be able to avoid the confrontation. Still, I'm grateful to learn it. I reach for the coins. Yeah, you don't just speak with Glaucia. I'm familiar with this process. You collaborate with her, and you got betrayed. She looks at her granddaughter and nods at the exit. She frowns, raising her crossbow gently, but obediently leaves the room. The perfumed man moves his hand to the grip of his sickle sword, as if trying to compensate for the sudden lack of assistance. Glaucia was born and raised in this village, and many of those who joined her band used to be our neighbors or their spouses. We ain't talking here about some strangers I'd put a bounty on. Yeah, I understand. You discussed the matter for some time. You focus on the link between highwaymen and the rare visits of trading caravans. I'm sure you've heard about the squad of soldiers sent here by the city, you conclude. Their fight at Hag Hill's Pass has pretty much crushed them. Once the officials learn that there's yet another group of armed bandits, and fully supported by a crucial trading partner at that, it won't bode well for your current lifestyle. She listens carefully, and her answer is close to a whisper. Tell me what you propose, stranger. Well, it's time for your village to join forces with Hovlevan. I don't actually think that this is how our Roadwarden would pitch this at this point, but fine. If Glossia is ready to put your lives in danger, you need to have soldiers at hand, someone ready to maintain the roads and keep the beasts and bandits away. The crossbow woman peeks inside, as if surprised there's been no bloodshed yet. Severina reacts to it with nothing more than a glance, staring at you like a statue from above her clasped fingers. Is it too late to admit I was sure this is where you've been leading me with all your talk? I'm ready to ask the council to listen to you, I am. She can't completely hide the pain in her voice. There's been more and more talk of such a treaty in recent years, as our lives get harsher than they've been in many decades, and we even grow apart from our neighbors. She then notes something on her tablet and gives it to the guard, sharing a telling nod with him. But I ain't sure yet what's right, stranger, and the elders and head workers won't be so sure either. You'll have only one chance to convince us that we should push our family members and friends toward a cliff, and instead obey some outsiders from the city. I don't envy you such a task. Seeing the kind look of her grandmother, the young woman returns to her chair, but, at least for now, lets her crossbow rest. Yeah, I'll speak with you when I'm ready to face the council. I don't know that that's the thing I actually want to do. My patience runs short, outsider. Severina gestures for you to pause. Are you sure other matters can't wait until tomorrow? So now that we've got her dead to rights on the Glossia thing, I would like to press her to stop providing cover to them. Because remember, Thyrsus... There's still something that we could get from Thyrsus. I'm going to say, no, there's something else we gotta talk about. You say the people of Old Pagos have accused you of thievery, but you do know already that Glossia lied to you about different events. You could heal the old wounds by helping the sick and weak. Your words are harsh, outsider, but hard to argue with, all right? I haven't much of my own. She glances at the sleeves of her dress and the cup-like seashell. But I'll present this case to the council. You've already helped us learn that the tool-selling caravan won't take their share of our fish, so we may have a few barrels to spare. Though I can't promise you much. I can't promise you anything, actually. Well, a few barrels of fish is enough to save lives. She glances at her granddaughter, lets her fingertips tap against each other, and sighs. Not a large price. I'll do my best. And I'll vote yes, says the guard with a wide smile. Well, thank you for being willing to try at least. Alright. Farewell. We gotta go talk to some people. Before you leave the hall, Severina asks you to wait. The people of our village are sharing good rumors about you, she starts. Quite a feat, that is. If you're as much of a hard worker as I've heard, maybe you'll find a way to restore something we lost to an actual vagabond. Not a young lad, called himself Pyros. Was staying with us half a summer ago, and one day left before sunrise carrying away our iron ingot. Her granddaughter gives her a silent but pained look. If he had any sort of wits, I'm sure he left the peninsula long ago, through the eastern route, or died trying. But maybe he was dumber than I thought. You ask exactly what she wants you to do, and she responds without hesitation. Merely return the ingot. It was nothing more than crude iron, not something to murder each other for, but still. She points at you with her stylus. A sin worthy of a coward, and believe me, not the first robbery that's happened to us. Yeah, okay, I'll let you know if I find it, since I do know where that man is. Okay. So, I need to speak to the people on the village council who will be voting, right? Need to be sure I have good arguments considering that many of the bandits share blood with the villagers and I will have only one chance to convince them. I need to be sure I have good arguments on my side. The session may take a few hours. Gosh. Do we have time for this? Do I feel like I have good arguments on my side? Glaucia's desperate. She lied about the thing. She kidnapped that trading crew. But is that it? Do we need more, I wonder? Hey, Petronius, anything new? Rufina, I can't. Okay, I don't have any way to talk to. Ah, shoot, that's not what I wanted to do. Tatius. Yeah, I don't know if a shield would be a good idea. I mean, it's probably not a bad idea. I'm just not used to using one. But who knows? Maybe I'd even be able to just resell it somewhere else. I'm actually going to buy this shield. It's so weird to have money. Okay, so I can't really talk to anybody. We were supposed to talk to someone. And I like completely bailed on that line of thinking, but now we were given a name. Yep, and I've already forgotten what it was. Well, maybe we just go ahead and try this, because like, what does my travel timer look like right now? 8 hours. So it's 3:15 to here, another 2.5 hours to there. So 2.5 hours back. Honestly, we might barely have time to make it to the watchtower. Maybe we shouldn't try to go through with this today. This is, you know, oh shoot, I forgot I'm trying to get to Creeks too. We might not have time to visit the tribe. So it's gonna be like 2.5 hours just to get to Creeks and then back to Foggy Lake. And then from Foggy Lake to here is gonna take us to 4:15. Then yeah, up to there makes it 6:45. Back would make it over 9 hours, which we don't have. All right, visit another day. Well, okay, we don't have a choice about figuring this out today, so I guess let's just get moving. We got to go to Creeks. We got to ask. Oh, shoot, I'm stupid. I was supposed to wash in the... Hold on. Hold on. There are autosaves, aren't there? Yeah. I'm sorry. This feels a little... It's like the tiniest bit cheesy, but like... I have already so many times clicked without really thinking about it. Yep, I'll speak with you when I'm ready to face the council. We are going to arrange this. Barrel of fish. Okay. Do we want to just hit it? I kind of think we're just going to hit it, and then we'll... Because I don't think there's anything else to gather without going to see Glaucia, which is the thing I don't think I want to do. I don't know that we have the time to do. If we did this right... Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm ready. So you say. Severina moves away from the table slowly, and with a tired sigh, stands up, though it doesn't make her much taller. After seeing the head woman's nod, the crossbow woman leaves her weapon leaning against the chair and runs outside. It will take a while before my granddaughter gathers everyone here. A few of the elders like to pretend she's not there. I'll pick up some berries with honey for us. She heads upstairs, followed by the unusual creaking of the planks. The perfumed guard approaches you with an awkward smile. I won't ask you to leave your blade in another room, but it would be impolite to face the council. Well, he points at your axe and gambeson. Like a thug. Yeah, fair enough. Here you go. We arranged for free baths and stuff. Can I do that before we do this? No. Phooey. Because there's time, right? Time is passing. I should be allowed to go and take a bath. All right. Many sweetened berries later, the room feels crowded by comparison with your regular visits, even though there's less than 24 people spread around the benches or sitting on the stairs. You're told to sit down on Severina's chair, facing the entire council. For now, they're mostly ignoring your presence, chatting about the increasing frequency of gatherings such as this one. We're not getting any younger, darling, says an elder introduced to you as the previous head fisher, and Severina responds to him with a smile warmer than any you've seen from her. That's all right. No one here gets old quicker than I do behind this desk, she responds, and the man chuckles. You've met some of them already, but the perfumed man is eager to announce every newcomer to you, dropping many names and the roles they are responsible for. Most of the elders are described to you by their past trades: artisans, overseers, fighters, and one storyteller, drawing a lot of attention with her hoarse yet sonorous jokes. Even the faces you recognize look different, wearing elegant tunics, robes, and dresses. I really wish they had let me bathe. With jewelry that for once doesn't get in the way of their tiresome labor. Aside from them, there are a few younger people. The head salter, head cooper, head cook. Even though their backs are stronger, they seem more timid, not willing to interrupt the elders in their decades-old conversations. I observe the door, waiting for the last soul. Gasping for air, Photios runs inside, still buckling his belt, explaining that there was more work to do. No one seems surprised. And one of the other artisans pats his shoulder. Come, have a honeyed berry, his predecessor invites him loudly, but Severina claps her hands a few times, encouraging everyone to take a seat. She stays at the spot just next to the desk, and for the first time you notice the subtle scent of violet flowers that surrounds her. We have rough hours ahead of us, we do, she starts. The Roadwarden wants to reconsider the ties between our village and Glaucia's group. Or wants us to reconsider. It's our group as well, the Fletcher chips in, and after the head digger scoffs, starting to respond, the head woman claps again. We ain't arguing right now. She runs her eyes over the crowd with a reprimand. Over this summer, we've all had a chance to present our views thoroughly. Let's allow the outsider to speak in peace, and once this is done, she beats your eyes, we'll open the discussion and move to the vote, so the officials of Hovlevan may know our answer before autumn. The puzzled looks and murmurs make you think not everyone here was aware of the scope of the topic at hand, but they don't get much time to express their discontent. So speak, outsider, will you? Starts the old fisher, and the hall quiets down. Well, I start with what I've already discussed with Severina. You describe your search for the lost merchants and the bandits' willingness to act against the council's orders. The response is mixed. Some observe you with disbelief, others with anger. But the first words you hear belong to Photios, the head fisher. Well, I'm sure they had a good reason. Reason or not, good or not, we need these tools, we do. And she takes them back south? Demetia, the cooper, raises her voice. We better learn how to make iron and spices out of thin air, adds one of the elders, for we won't see that caravan again. After a few minutes of back and forth, the headwoman tells you to move to the next thing, so that everyone has a broader understanding before they get bogged down by the details. And Glaucia is putting the lives of others into danger out of fear of her? We tell them about Quintus. The tunnel. The tunnel's an interesting point. Even though Glaucia's band knows only combat, they didn't move a finger to secure the tunnel in the south. It's no surprise to me that the wilds reclaimed the roads with such ease. Looking after roads is harder than it sounds, stranger, starts the head woodcutter. Don't tell me. We used to send dozens of souls every season or less, clearing and cutting. That ain't an easy task. Hearing that, you frown. You mention some of the deeds you are responsible for on the Eastern Path alone. How is it I could do all these things by myself, while she has an entire group that's familiar with the woods yet does nothing? The silence is cut by the absent voice of Ayuno, the digger. She wants the wilderness, she does. So we've added a couple of other things here. If you've no doubt your support of the bandits is justified, why do most of your people have no right to know the truth? That's interesting. I don't know that I want to bring up Howler's Dell, considering the situation with Howler's Dell is maybe a little fluid. Let's try this. If you've no doubt your support for the bandits is justified, why do most of your people have no right to know the truth about everything that Glaucia has done? She's far from being just a treasure hunter. One of the toothless elders chuckles. Oh, we don't merely hide things from them. We straight out lie, for lying gets more votes. His voice drips with disdain, but Severina silences him with her stare. More of them know than you think, outsider. She turns her head toward you. But don't expect all them workers to push away their families. When I moved here as a young girl, I saw my parents only 3 times before they died. Another elder looks at you reproachfully. At least I can see my boy every season or so, and he's now a murderer, and I will not apologize for him to anyone. A few people nod in agreement, while others observe their own boots. Glaucia is putting the lives of others into danger out of fear of her, I tell them about Quintus. She threatened him. The Salter speaks with disbelief, but Severina takes her claim seriously. If we were to speak with this man sometime in the future, are you sure his testimony would not reveal you to be a liar? Seeing your nod, an uncomfortable grumbling spreads through the crowd. At least they protect the gate, one of the elders starts, but Fulvia waves it off. They could guard the gate on their own if they were keen to do so. A brief quarrel is cut by the headwoman, who gestures for you to go on. And the people of Old Pagos no longer trust you. You've lost a valuable ally. They call us thieves, Photios the fisher raises his hands in defense. We've done nothing to them. The perfumed guard sighs, giving you a sad look. After listening to the Roadwarden, I've no doubt Glaucia is to blame. She's a liar and a thief. One of the elders scoffs. Without her in the woods, we would never have been accused in the first place. Now, after all them bandits got themselves killed by the city folk, every missing pie will be our fault. They argue for a few minutes, but it seems like most people are convinced that there is only one possible thief of the statue. So apparently I have to say this? I don't see any downside to doing this. I'd rather not bring up their faith, because I think they know that I am not a follower of the right, and so they make it defensive. Howler's Dell is already willing to negotiate with Havlavan. The endeavor to make the peninsula safer may be easier than you think. Thais must have some big plans if she's willing to loosen her grasp, starts Albus the Salter, and the wide-open eyes of the council show they're thinking the same. They stare at you in silence, then look at their headwoman. After a few moments, she turns toward them. What is there to say? If we are to take a place at the table, we ought to make sure it will be a good one. I don't want to press their religious beliefs. I don't know that they for sure forbid the thing that's going on here. And also, I think it's going to feel like being reprimanded by an outsider for a thing that they're going to get defensive about. That's all I have to say. Right, so we've listened, we did, starts the old fisher, whose posture grows more lax the longer the gathering goes. But why do we trust what the outsider, he scowls at you, thinks of our matters? Severina doesn't look at you, but her voice is gentle. Our neighbors see the Roadwarden as a guest, not just a stranger. We have no promises to make. All we have to do is decide if we're ready to speak with the city officials. A few of our artisans have spoken with the Roadwarden about our trade, starts Albus the Salter. The city may have a reason to send their mouthpiece here after all. Portia, the cook, mentions that from what she's heard at her diner, you did some good for the villagers. Photios admits enthusiastically that you've helped him more than he expected you to. One of the elders, Paulus's grandmother, mentions the help you offered to her family. Ayuno, the digger, says that the day when the village may once again need to use the southern tunnel may be approaching quickly, and that thanks to your help, it won't take as much effort. I look around, waiting for everyone to speak. The perfumed man clears his throat. All right, better get to the discussion before we fall asleep. I vote a strong yes, anyway. The news the Roadwarden brought to us about old Pagos is enough to convince me. Come, Samhain. He nods at you and heads toward the exit. We leave the hall. We follow the scent of cloves until the man closes the door behind you, and you hear the thudding window shutters on the ground floor of the keep. As you approach the gate, the village seems more empty than usual, but the smoke doesn't stop coming from the buildings of artisans. There's no time to stop the work. The guard tells you to stay nearby, places his pillow on the stairs, and sits down. He observes you for some time, then takes out his usual knife and focuses his attention on a new wooden log. I look at the object in his hands. What are you carving? He shows you what look like a few tiny planks, already detached from the rest of the log, as well as 4 wheels cored in the center. It'll be a wagon. Last time I made a wheeled fish. I'm good with wheels, he explains, giving you a warm yet sad smile. You've got a kid? I look at his wrinkles. A grandkid, maybe? He grins. Oh, I have quite a family, I do. But this one's for my daughter. I'm still new at crafts, but she ain't picky. You ask him how old she is, and his eyes seem both defeated and accepting. 30. She merely holds the soul of a child. She won't ever go to the hills, beach, or forest, but has a good imagination, she does. I used to give her simple toys, swords and figurines, but she'd rather play with ones that can move, and wheels are the easiest for me. You spend some time chatting about his experience, and the time goes quicker. Every now and then, some sort of screaming or laughter reaches you from the keep, but other than that, the closed door and windows keep you without clue. After more than an hour, both you and the man are called inside. Let's go, then. The eyes inside the keep are tired yet gentle. The council sits on the benches with one of the elders napping, and some of the younger members look longingly at the exit. The windows are open once again, but the air is still stale, in part because of the flower perfumes. Severina is standing behind her desk, leaning on the top, glancing at you with hardly any emotion. You notice that many of her wax tablets have switched places, and half of them are open. The vote is done. Weak yes, she states solemnly. If Glaucia wants to remain one of us, she needs to bring her band here and stay free of robbery. We don't trust the officials and merchants, but we're ready to negotiate with them. Now, let's disband and eat something. I thank the council. A few of the souls thank you for trying to make a change, while others congratulate you. The old fisher, who found himself something stronger to drink, feels it's necessary for him to take you to the side and explain that you shouldn't trust the guilds or priests anyway. You mostly nod, not entirely paying attention. The younger members of the council help the elders cross the yard, and as they engage in friendly chatter, they forget about the gathering quickly. The headwoman stops you before you follow their lead. There's one more thing, Samhain. Coming from her lips, your name sounds strange to you. If you don't have to depart for Havlavan just yet, can you pass our decision to Glaucia? She's gonna be mad. I'm not gonna do no way she's gonna kill me, but I wish there was a softer way of expressing my concern on this front. And for nothing in return, I expect? She scowls at you. And what can I give you in return? Free food to fill my belly? In that case, I'll speak with Portia. You'll find her just down the path close to the hill. Great. She observes you without a word, but her fingers are tapping on the table. The guard gives you a telling look. Yeah, okay, I'm out. Bye. Okay, then the Puros thing. Right, I'll tell you if I find it. So, I'm looking for someone. The head cook. You head to the building that releases not only smoke, but also the smell of roasting meat and spices. In front of it, you find a sweating, wrinkled woman with a shaved head and a simple rag-like band on her hips, and another one restricting her breasts tightly, as if any movement outside of her control would be too much of a risk to take. She doesn't even spare you a glance, too busy with mixing ingredients in bowls and cutting vegetables on wooden boards. Her eyes are focused, but whenever she tilts her head high enough for you to see her face, you spot her subtle yet challenging smile. Inside the building, you find another few people, most of them elders, as well as a large fireplace that's smoking a few dozen hanging fish. When one of the cooks, currently scaling a fresh fish, notices you, he lowers his head and with a bored voice addresses the woman. "Portia, you have an outsider, you do." The woman turns toward you in the blink of an eye, standing on spread legs, as if her shell can't spare you more than a single flinch. Didn't notice you there, stranger. You hungry?" She reaches for a bowl, but stops suddenly. Right. We serve more than 100 stomachs, we do, so better give me a reason." "Such as?" "Well, everyone works for their share. Join them." She points at the people inside the hollowed cave, but after a few moments, she shakes her head left and right and gets back to her work. "Or pay me a dragon, I guess. It'll land in the keep's chest." After you explain you were promised free service, she chuckles. "All right, I remember you now. Why didn't you say so sooner?" "So, your group cooks for the entire village?" She grins toward you. "Right. Safer than fishing, and you know." She squeezes her revealed stomach, which is unusually flat. You notice how muscular her arm is. "I move a lot, so I can eat a lot." She lets out a chuckle, then moves a large basket of freshly cleaned apples inside the building. "I have only a few years before my back gives up, but I've done enough to deserve my slower days." Okay, so... interesting. They'll barter bunches of wild plants for food rations, and also they would feed us, but they won't give us rations for free, which is what I was kind of hoping for. I'm just going to step away. We need the washerwoman, was the other person, right? Washer? Shit. Somebody's supposed to clean my clothes and I don't remember their name. Washerwoman? I look for laundry. Okay. The steep banks are damp, so you head upstream to the wooden bridge, but you can hardly reach any water with your fingers there. You consider getting undressed, but a sudden voice behind you tells you to quit it. "This current is strong. It'll catch you, and bam." The man swings his arm. "You'll crack your skull against the rocks." He points downstream. He's a large person, with heavy boots that are dirty from mud, and a necklace made of a colorful shell as large as your hand. He approaches you holding a few empty buckets, each one attached to a rope. He places them on the logs and crouches down, filling the buckets one by one. I ask him about washing myself at a well, maybe? He frowns. What are you, a child? What's your name?" After you introduce yourself, he gives you a gentle nod. "And I'm Aquila. We bathe in tubs, right? I have warm water in the shed." He directs your eyes at the boulder next to the path, though it in no way resembles sheds that one would find in the city. He straightens up and carries the buckets up the bank, one by one. "Either help me carry water around the village for a few hours, or pay me if you're lazy enough. I'll make you a fine bath and wash your togs." After you explain that you were promised free service, he raises his voice. "Right, so you're that Roadwarden. Very well, no fees for you." He places the last bucket next to the road, and you notice that another man is already taking one of them to the eastern gate. "I could also sell you a bottle of perfumes, though it won't be of much use if you have no soap." He grins with his yellow teeth, as if there's a punchline hidden in his words. "We pick flowers of roses, violets, lavender, cherry. Good for hair, ears, and wrists. Just don't drink it." Yeah. So, we are currently filthy. I don't know how long this is going to take. It took not long. Okay. "4 hours. Rough." He grins and asks you to wait with your horse. I'm taking this because I'm hoping it'll let us get to 5 of 5 appearance, which might matter when we're dealing with the Green Mountain people. He grins and asks you to wait with your horse, then heads toward the western gate. Once he returns, he carries a small wooden box. He places it inside the shed on one of the old barrels. The box is filled with wool and small earthenware bottles, which he opens one at a time, allowing you to get a whiff of their contents. "Now, we make them as a village. The coins ain't for me," he explains. "But they're nice, ain't they? Which one do you want?" I think cherry would be nice." He smiles, picks up a bottle, and puts it on the barrel, waiting for you to smell it again before you pay. You add the bottle to your other fragile pieces of equipment, and the man closes the box and carries it away. Okay, and that's all that we'll... yeah. Alright, I step away. So just a mo here. Let me... Where's that? How do I smell good? Bug repellent, troll urine, sting ointment. Is it just like when I have the ability to wash? Because I was hoping I could get a +1 from it. Maybe that's not how it works. High vitality. Yeah, I guess maybe the only way to get to 5 is to have the fancy clothes. Well, I don't have them. Okay. That's fine. Maybe that was a wasted $4. That would not be great, but... We can't get to Creeks and make it to the Watchtower. We basically spent a whole fucking day in Gale Rocks. We get to Creeks and back to Foggy's, though. We'll just have to do all this tomorrow. If we got to the Watchtower, if we didn't go to Creeks, we just ran to the Watchtower now, we could probably talk to the witch tonight. The enchantress. No, let's go to Creeks. Because I think, my guess is we're going to be able to talk either Efren or Ella into coming with us. Probably Efren, right? When you cross the bridge, you pass the same group that you saw on the first day you arrived at this place. Once again, gathered at the creek and scantily clad. Their smiles are inviting, and after you look at them, one of the women invites you with a hand wave. I gotta make it back to Foggy's. It takes half an hour. Sure, I accept the invitation and head to the creek. The group of young people at the bridge are still preparing to enter the creek and are currently whispering to each other and giving you looks. Some of them are naked. Others keep half clothed with pants or a shirt, more to avoid the gusts of wind than anyone's eyes. Shoshi, who plays with her massive axe, speaks first. How about a little help? It's not easy to scratch one's own back. Yo, I'm a little bit into Shoshi, if I'm honest. I'd love some company. The 7 souls encourage you to strip, but don't wait for you. The splashes are followed both by chuckling and grumbling about the cold water, and once you join the others, you're neither ignored nor at the center of attention. Playful nudges and submerging are indeed accompanied by helping each other with watching hard-to-reach spots, and you find that the locals have surprisingly strong arms, proving they have many days of hard labor behind them. After a few active minutes, 2 male lovers compete against one another by swimming with and against the flow, comparing their speed. The others spread along the banks, chatting about this and that. In a moment of silence, you decide to direct the topic slightly. Is there anything that we need to know? I don't know that we can turn this to much utility. It's just kind of like we had the extra time, right? How do you feel about Creeks? Do you enjoy living here? The answers vary. Shoshi plans to move to a different settlement. Another one hopes to see the lands beyond the peninsula. 2 would like to start families here since they feel free and loved in their tribe, while the last 2 hope to still change some things about this place before they decide for sure. After a quiet moment, a short blonde male speaks to you gently. We weren't sure you'd be willing to spend time with such ribald folk. He's instantly interrupted by the others, who start to argue which one of them is more indecent. He then carries on. Aren't the city folk taught to be of humble gaze and silent breath like that missionary told us? Well... I'm not really city folk is actually surprisingly not one of the answers. You know, I smile. You'd be surprised how many naked shells one may see in the city. And touch. One of the male lovers bursts into laughter. I knew the priest was lying about the bathhouses. A wavy-haired woman also chuckles. So, we may not be that strange in the city after all. Where there's will to live, her voice gets solemn. There's shagging. To demonstrate her words, she kisses one of her friends, luring the eyes of the rest of the group. Once the discussion slows down again, the group looks at each other and the skinny man with long limbs is the first to speak. A round of dice? He gets out without waiting for an answer, and others follow suit. But what do we wager? Asks a brown-skinned man with short hair. Apples? You follow them to the grass, and it seems like the others aren't even thinking of gathering their clothes. Seeing how quickly the dice find their way from a bag to the wide, short tree stump, you realize it's not as much a spontaneous invitation as it is part of an old ritual. Well, I do have some fruits and veggies. Let's play. I feel like I'm just trying to, get along. I'm just trying to, act like I've been here before, you know? Yes! The skinny man adds your share to the prize pool. But the greens count as half. In his bag, you indeed see mostly pears, plums, and other fruits. You look at the light dancing on everyone's skin, but also their hair, now shaken by the wind. The way the grass touches your own backside is a bit distracting. The group is mostly glancing at each other or gossiping, without paying much attention to the game. Shoshi once again holds her axe and looks at all of you while humming a peaceful tune. The rules are new to you, but in no way baffling. 4 people can play at once. The dice are bone-made cubes with 6 dotted faces. Every time someone wins a round, they get a point, and the person with the most points at the end wins all the coins. As you play, you don't feel like you have much control over the results. I mean, I'm not super concerned about my fruit, I think. I try to get to know them better. Or maybe flirt a bit. Oh, I lost a bunch of wild plants. Sad. Aside from the skinny coordinator of the game, who finally wins it, no one else tries to keep track of points or discuss strategy. Hands throw dice, push the cups, and return to either resting on the grass or holding a nearby person, including you. You hear their names, but you need some time to memorize all of them at once. The skinny man tries to learn more about the trees, hoping to be a forest gardener. Shoshi claims to be the fastest axe thrower in the village, and announces this with a quiet song. The short one with wavy hair used to study herbs at Howler's Dell, but came here to move away from the druid's strict looks. The male couple both help old Hava on the farm, and hope to learn enough to supervise the fields on their own. The dark-skinned woman with short hair plans to fix the houses in the palisade, and the last person, a blonde man of tiny stature who had said almost nothing during the last hour, is proud to announce himself as the only cave explorer in Creeks, though once asked about any interesting findings, he instantly refuses to share. You catch a soul-crushing terror in his eyes. Finally, the youths decide to get back to their tasks, and the skinny man throws you your clothes. It was nice, says the woman with an axe on her naked shoulder, as she invites you to approach with her spread arm. Yeah, no, absolutely. I hug them all and prepare myself to leave. I'm trying to be friendly here, and also, so far, getting to know people better has done only good for us, right? I hug them all and prepare to leave. While your nose catches only the freshness of the creek and a few hints of trampled grass, there's a comforting warmth in the skin and lips that touch you, a shelter from the winds. Also, it's been like a whole month that we've been here with not so much as a hug from anybody, I think. A little bit of human, human physical intimacy is a big deal. Okay, Efren, my man. You find him sitting at the main square using one of the log-made tables to fix his club by swapping one of the broken obsidian blades with a new one. As you get closer, he spares you a polite smile. Good to see you in one piece, traveler. I noticed that no soul in your tribe carries a weapon that would contain iron or copper. No, not because of some priest prattle, we just have neither. He taps the sharpened obsidian of his club proudly. But we do what we can, with fine results. We hunt nothing larger than a deer and cast rocks from slingshots. Illa hopes to trade for copper with his firewood, chairs. We'll see. His eyes tell you that you'll see nothing of the sort. There was a traveler here, a year or two ago, who was seeking ore in this land. He went to the eastern ravine at the foraging ground south of here, and he gives you a playful look, then suddenly claps his hands and steps forward, making the wolf's jaw bounce up and down. Dead. His tent is still there, but the shell went into the fogs. I'm a little surprised to see that I don't have... Maybe it's because I didn't complete the hunter quest? but I'm a little surprised to see that I don't have the option to ask him to come with me to High Island. Maybe if we found Dahlia... I mean, we're planning to go to the Green Mountain Tribe tomorrow. I swear to you, it's going to happen. And if that is Dahlia's spear by that nest, I'm not gonna do this yet. We may yet be able to conclude this. Good hunting, I suppose. I returned to Ephron. I returned to Elah. I wanted to talk to Elah a little bit. He's trying to carve something on the surface of a wooden mug, but you don't recognize the shape. He smiles and puts away his tools. Welcome back, friend. Good to see that you stay safe on the roads. Yeah, I'd like to place this rod somewhere high if I could. It belongs to Eudocia the Enchantress. He grabs the rod and looks at it with caution. Well, I wouldn't call her our friend, exactly. You'd do better selling this. Swinging it left and right like a club, he tells you to wait. It can't just be my decision. I'm going to ask the others, at least a few of them. You rest at a table and observe how the man approaches various souls and exchanges a few words with them. It takes him so long, you manage to get bored enough to indulge a little girl who'd like to pet aggro. The man returns without the rod. Well, my tribe calls you a fair soul. He smiles and wipes the sweat off his forehead. We'll put it at the watchtower. There ain't many birds that would steal something of that size. Yeah, cool, thanks. I helped to clear the plague from Old Pagos. It may not be a safe place, but it'll survive, probably. Elah's grin is soon followed by his raised voice. You're serious? Everyone! He addresses... Boy, I'm getting a little nervous about our time is all. He addresses the people working near the square. Tell the others, the plague is gone, we're safe. After his eyes return to you, he clears his throat and turns away again. Old Pagos is safe. You explain briefly what happened, and he spends a good few moments considering the old druid's part. I wouldn't expect someone from Howlers to help another soul in need, he says while his hand clenches the bottom part of his cloak. Not since they're ruled by a tyrant. But it's not the first time this forest speaker has protected the peninsula from a grave threat. He smiles at you. And so did you, I guess. Also, the north will be a little bit safer. The priest of White Marshes has agreed to no longer use the undead. He stops in his work and looks at you in silence, waiting for you to carry on. I can't say I was all that familiar with any of this, he says once you're done with your tale. But I'm happy you managed to avoid violence. You truly are our Roadwarden, friend. Okay, so nothing else of value probably to be done here. Old Hava is observing the birds and ignoring my presence. Say, I was asking about the merchants. Our hunters push away the beasts, but it's not safe enough for us to keep roaming from here to there on a whim. But you're right, Roadwarden. I'm just a farmer with a past. During the pause that follows, a cold gust of wind ruffles your cloak. It's Foggy, who speaks with travelers and merchants, knows how to price wares and labor. We need both her place and her experience, but you know how these roads are. When we need to resupply, we send a whole expedition with a cart, not a lonely peddler. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, I don't actually need any of your stuff. I'm good. Farewell. We better get out of here if we want to be able to get somewhere safe before nightfall. Okay. So I approach Foggy. Just out of curiosity, okay, I didn't pick up anything new, I didn't figure. Yep, 2 meals left. Well, that'll have to do. Let's sleep. And I don't want to lose vitality. I'm out of rations if I pay with rations. We're headed to the pelt, though. I think it's okay to pay with the rations. Yeah. That's 2/3 of a coin at pelt rates, so. Alright. I approach Foggy. I'd like to eat, please. And let's get gone. Travel. Okay. So, shockingly, I was not able to talk to the people in Creeks. We're probably not going to make it to Eudocia's place fast enough. We should go here. I wonder if having spoken to... Let's go to the giant. Because I'm kind of curious if having spoken to, what's his name, about the person who was gathering ore, I'm wondering if we can maybe find that camp. If we go to the small cave and stop there, I'm a little worried we're going to encounter the corpse eater again. Hold on. It seems like that was too far back. I can't remember exactly where he said it was. There were 3 of 5. 3 of 5's fine. Yeah, let's push up. Gosh, I hope this chisel is magic enough. Okay. Seems like I'm done here. So there was, in fact, no tent to examine. There are fresh bloodstains next to the nest. The griffin is walking on the lower plateau, patrolling its surroundings. It screeches at you with its bird-like head as soon as you reach the bridge, then leaps forward. The singing birds and dragon roars are concealed by strong winds. You spot fresh claw marks and boot prints on the road. I could place bronze rods somewhere, but not with the beast around. Yeah, okay, we move on. I was kind of hoping that with the crossbow, I'd be able to at least try to, like, drive it away. But apparently not. Oops, right-clicked. The villagers are busy with their work, sometimes glancing at you from a distance, but not paying much attention. A few of them grab spears and tools and approach the entrance, previously unguarded. The Saurian rider shows up soon after. Do any of these possessions interest you? Fuck. You're kidding me. I have a magic chisel. The hell does she want from me? Alright, well, how much travel time is left in the day? 8 hours? We could go to the pelt and then come back to the watchtower. Maybe that's the way to go. Yeah, I think so. We'll be able to talk to Eudocia then, I think. Okay, the armorer's workshop is closed at this hour. Do I make it back? No, but she'll talk to us right at the beginning of the morning too, right? So it'll be fine. Get off my horse and enter the inn. I approach Pyros. Hi, Roadster. Need anything? I cross my arms and straighten up. Give me back the iron you took from the people of Gale Rocks. He instantly reaches down toward his belt, but after taking a glance at the guards, he raises his hands as if trying to calm you down. Come on, Roadster. Without it, I'll have nothing to sell once I get south. Alright, don't try to play me. You stole it long before you lost your belongings. He raises his voice. Aye, but I need it more than some fishers. He looks at you with contempt and scratches his scared face. Have mercy. Let me keep it, and I'll be in your debt. My thinker is heavier than my muscles, but I know how to use my ballista, and I can help you on a dangerous trip. This ingot is my only path forward, Roadster. How much... Here's a question. We kind of already got what we want from the people of Gale Rocks. Yeah, we kind of already got what we need from the people of Gale Rocks, and also, I mean, this is like a very clear, he would come with us to the camp, right? Or he would come with us to High Island. I don't think I actually need anything from them anymore. Okay, yeah, the monks, that's still a whole situation. I just want to make sure that I'm remembering this quest correctly. Where was that quest? That was from Gale Rocks, right? Missing hunters is a different thing, obviously. Hidden village has nothing to do with it. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to let him slide, actually. I think he's offered me a thing I actually care about. Very well, but if you try to leave the peninsula before I collect your debt, I won't be so kind the next time I find you, which will happen. Alright, I need your assistance. We're going to spend a single night on High Island, west of the peninsula. Shit, another boat. He snorts, rubbing his burnt face. Well, I have no choice, do I? I'll prepare my ballista, but be sure I'm doing nothing else for you. Yeah, fair enough. Oops, I didn't want to go outside. Sorry, I gotta talk to the innkeeper. You can now trade for a new item. So, you again. I have something new to sell you. A shield. It's large, a bit heavy, but firm. One of my huntresses tried to put it to use, but prefers a long spear. Let me know if you want it. Hey, Foggy has a message for you, by the way. The innkeeper listens to Foggy's words patiently, then crosses his arms and leans back, lost in his thoughts. Seems like she won't be played so easily. After you mention the answer, he tells you to relax. You'll have it soon. See, I've lost her first share. Asterion was meant to deliver it to her. Never happened. I don't want to waste more, but she doesn't need to know it. Pardon me. I've been doing a lot of talking today. He raises a bowl that sits nearby and reveals a few dragon bones. He counts off 5 of them. Alright, tell her this. Asterion lost your coin. I'm now in debt. Let's be partners for now. I'll send you more once I have it, but I don't promise anything. He pushes the coins toward you, observing them like a hawk. They're yours, just help me keep the charade going, now and later. It's important to me. What do we do? Why even bother? He makes a nervous hiss as he breathes through his teeth. I plan to sell her furs in the late autumn, and I hope she'll keep sending people here whenever they stop at her place. I want to stay on her good side. She doesn't get hurt in any way, but I'll spread good word about her if it comes to it. And if the winds change and the city folk start trading here once the roads get safer, he meets your eyes, I may return to our deal. Alright, I take the coins. I'll cover for you. I'll figure it out. You got any leftovers? I don't know if I want to stay here any longer than necessary, though. So that shield, it's a bigger shield. That's interesting. Do I have anything you would like? Just the healing potion for... Did that go up? I think that's more. I think I'm going to hold on to it, though. I don't feel like I need a bigger shield. I don't know if I want the shield I have now. And if I can't sell it, I certainly don't want to be carrying 2 around. Or did I not buy that other shield? Huh, I thought I had. But it's not in my weapons. Weird. How much was it? 5? And I've got 23 on me? Presumably we could potentially get paid here for... I thought I'd bought that other shield. Okay, we're definitely buying rations, that's for sure. I am going to buy the shield. What the hell? Okay. I don't need to ask about anybody, I don't think. We already asked him about everyone that matters. Okay, yeah, the shield appears. There are countless designs of shields, some of them answering specific needs and tactics used by local fighters, while others are a result of limited resources or vague traditions, the feeling that a specific shape is how a shield should look. They're a bit different in every village, though every few dozen miles it's hard to consider them in any way similar, especially since they are decorated in many ways, making even identical designs unique in execution. In the Dragonwoods, they are mainly used by 3 groups of people: farmers and workers, who in desperate times grab simple spears and light shields to form a wall, hoping to avoid close combat; soldiers, especially those who specialize in fighting with bandits or undead, using their shields to their advantage thanks to years of training, not so much my deal; and adventurers, especially those who are meant to stay in the first row during combat. Shields are not especially useful when it comes to fighting massive predators, capable of breaking them to pieces with a single strike, or completely ignoring them during a charge. You've hardly trained with a shield, and you almost always take just your axe, relying on the nimbleness of your legs and having the option to make a cut from every direction, or with two hands at once. But such an item can be used in many other ways, especially to protect yourself from arrows or stones. Indeed. Alright, I think that's it. I'm good. Before you leave the room, Mie-san knocks on the counter, drawing your eyes. So far, you've been rather useful. He looks into your eyes, though shortly. You may indeed make this place a bit crowdier. If you ever need a room, just go upstairs. Save your pouch. I appreciate that. Alright. Let's get going here. We got a place to be. So back to the watchtower. Let's enter the tower and spread the bug repellent around. At least they won't bother me in my sleep. You open the jar, releasing the pleasant herbal sweetness. You take a stick and use it like a brush, spreading the ointment near the larger pieces of furniture, under which you'd expect to find the colonies of worms and insects. You also put it on top of and inside the pallets, as well as around the windows, under the door, and in the corners. The remaining balm finds its place in a couple of holes you spotted between the bricks. In less than half an hour, you already see roaches that either lie still or kick their legs desperately while on their backs. And I put the empty jar on the table, and maybe something will fly into it. You're at the ground floor of the watchtower. It's weirdly quiet here. You see almost no movement, and it's certainly too late for me to be going outside, so we'll just sleep on this pallet. The rains once again hit the ground, interrupting your sleep. Not my favorite thing. You wake up in silence, barely hearing the wind outside the tower walls. You gather your things and climb down where Agro is napping. You push away all the furniture that you used to barricade the door, and finally walk your mount outside. You allow it to graze on grass for half an hour and place all your riding equipment on it, then check your belongings. Thankfully, you find no sign of bugs. We're doing it. We're fixing things. Okay. This is probably a pretty good place to call it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. We're going to stop by Yudoshia's place, see about the quills, see if she's willing to entertain paying us for the distribution of her rods, despite the fact that we were not able to leave one in White Marshes, in light of the fact that things have changed a great deal in White Marshes. Fingers crossed on that. And then after we do so, I think it's time to start heading back toward the West Coast and go visit High Island. We don't exactly have like a huge adventuring crew, but 3 people who know their way around weapons, and especially with us, having a couple of long-range weapons and stuff, we have a lot of powders and dusts and whatnot. I'm hopeful that we'll be able to survive whatever it is we find out there. Fingers crossed, I suppose. And we'll see you then.